Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Foster, and today we're going to be talking about computer lab and laptop cart procedures. Please make sure, students, that you're paying attention, and also help me out and make sure your teacher's paying attention because there's information in here for both students and teachers. All right, let's get started. All right, so let's talk about rules when you're using computers. Hopefully you know that there's never food or drinks around computers. So drinks, anything wet can completely ruin a computer. And food, it could get on the keyboard, we could get crumbs in there. So let's just keep all food and drinks away from any computers that we're using. So if you're coming to the lab or if you are in the classroom using computers, make sure your lunch boxes or drinks are on the floor, on a shelf, on a counter, somewhere away from the computers. Rule number 2, don't change any of the computer settings. Some of you are pretty good at technology, so you know how to move things around or change things, flip the computer screen. Please don't do any of that. I spend a lot of time setting up these computers and making sure they're working correctly for everyone. So you are not allowed to change any computer settings, including icons, moving the taskbar, muting the volume, so the next person doesn't have any, flipping the screen, anything. Just use the computer program that you're supposed to be using. Do not change any settings. And teachers, help me out with that, before you leave the computer lab or before students close their laptops, take a quick walk around and make sure everything looks correct on that screen. Okay, next rule. If there's anything wrong with your computer, you need to raise your hand and tell your teacher as soon as possible. The reason is, for one, we want to fix any problems, but for two, your teachers are going to be checking the computers when you're done with them, and if there's something wrong with it and you didn't tell her or him beforehand, we're going to assume that you're the one who caused that problem. So again, make sure you tell them first thing when you sit down. If you notice something wrong, there's a missing key on the keyboard, your sound jack isn't working, whatever it is, you say that right away. Otherwise, you're going to be held responsible for whatever the problem is. Rule number 4 is to handle headphones gently. Now, hopefully you brought in your own headphones. We put headphones on the supply list this year. So hopefully you have your own headphones. If you don't yet, please go home, tell your parents, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, whoever's at home with you, please tell them that you really need to bring in some headphones because we use them all the time. We use them for testing, we use them for iReady, and it's just better to have your own so that the school isn't having to spend a lot of money on headphones. Now, for those who don't have any, or you're getting ready to buy some or whatever, you will have headphones to borrow, but if you damage them, if you pull off the ear cushions, if you rip the ear cushions, if you bite through the cord, if you pull the cord out of the headset, whatever it is, you are going to receive a consequence. Teachers, please follow through with this. If a student borrowed headphones, when they return them, make sure they're fine, they're not damaged. If they are damaged, teachers, you need to give them a consequence that you feel is appropriate. If it keeps happening, teachers, that student needs to see an administrator because that's damaging school property and that is not acceptable. If you have your own headphones, you still want to handle them gently because if you break them, then your parents are going to have to buy you some new ones. Like I said, there will be several pairs of headphones for students who do need to borrow them. They're not to keep, they are to borrow. Teachers in the different labs, whether it's a laptop lab or the high stakes lab or the media center, you will see a bucket like this with headphones in it. What the students are going to do who don't have headphones is they are going to take a pair out of the bin at the beginning of class. After they're done, when you guys line up, they are going to gently wrap the cord around the headphones, and they're going to return them to the bin. And again, teachers, please check and make sure that their headphones are not damaged. If they are damaged, they need to receive a consequence. All right, and this is what I'm talking about, students, when you gently wrap the cord around the ear cushions, that part of the headphones, so that the cords aren't getting all tangled up inside the headphone bin. Okay, so everybody's going to be plugging in headphones, whether they're your own headphones or ones you're borrowing. What I've done to make this easier for you is on laptops. On the laptops, the majority of them, the headphone jack is on the right side of the computer, and you can see that I have circled them green. They're going to be bright, shiny green, so you know where to plug the headphones in. Plug them in gently. At the end of class, unplug them gently so we don't damage that. And in the high stakes lab, you are going to see also that the headphone jack that you need to use is colored green. Sometimes they're on the top, sometimes they're on the bottom. So I went through and checked every single one, and the one that you need to plug into is the one that is colored green. All right, rule number 5, you need to type and click gently. You know, technology, it's not indestructible. It can be broken, so that's why we need to be gentle with this technology. So that means you're not pounding on the keyboard, you're typing gently. If you have a mouse, you are not banging it, you are just clicking it gently. And that way we can keep our equipment working correctly and not get damaged. Unfortunately, last year we did have some issues with students pulling off the laptop keys. This is a big problem. It's damaging school property on purpose. Boys and girls, these keys do not fall off. They are on there hard. So when students are pulling them off, it's on purpose, and that is unacceptable because then the school has to pay to replace those laptop keys. If this becomes a problem, teachers, we need to address it. So we'll talk in a minute about you're going to have a seating chart, and when you're using the laptop carts, you're going to have a list of who is using which computer. That way we know who pulled the key off. They're going to have a severe consequence. And students, just don't do this. Please be respectful and treat the equipment properly.
All right, and our last rule, rule number 6, is to leave your computer area tidy, which means to clean up after yourself. So if you had pencils and paper, make sure you take those with you. If you had some sort of garbage, I don't know exactly what it would be because you shouldn't have any food or anything like that with you, but you know, if your paper, you don't need that anymore or whatever it may be, make sure you throw any garbage away on your way out the door. You should be leaving your area very nice and clean for the next person.
Before you leave the lab, there are some things you need to do. I just said you need to clean your area. You also need to push in your chairs. Teachers, help me out with this. Those of you who borrowed headphones, you need to gently wrap up the cord and place them back in the bin. If you're in a laptop lab, leave the laptop lids open, please, so that the next class doesn't have to come, open them up, wake up the computers. Leaving them open also allows teachers for them to get updates. So please leave those lids open in the labs. And then teachers, you're going to have a checkoff sheet on the exit door. So you can just have a reminder of all of these things being done. So please fill that out on your way out. All right, and this is what we're talking about by leaving the labs in good condition. You can see these are nice and tidy. The chairs are pushed in. Everything looks great. So this is the way it should look every time you enter and leave one of the labs. Teachers, I mentioned a checklist that will be on the door. This is what it looks like. Just write down your name, the date, check off that the desks are clean and the chairs are pushed in, check in that all students borrowed their headphones, that they're undamaged. Check off that all computers are working. If they are not working, please go online and fill out the form, the tech request form. I have the barcode also by the door. Not the barcode, the QR code by the door so that you can scan it and fill out that form really quickly with your phone if you have it. Otherwise, as soon as you get back to your room, please go on your computer and fill out that form, because I do not go into the labs unless I know there's a problem, and I don't know there's a problem unless you fill out that form for me.
Okay, now let's move on to laptop carts. 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, you all have a laptop cart that you get to use, and there are certain procedures that need to be followed for those. First thing, teachers, is on the inside of the laptop cart door, you are going to find student laptop rosters. I need you to assign each student to a computer number. There are computer numbers on the laptop lids, and every time you use the laptops, the students need to be using the same number every time. And the reason for this is that allows us to keep track of if there's a problem with one of the laptops, we know who to come back to. So students, you will have a number. If there's a problem with your computer, we're going to come back to you because you're the one who uses that laptop. And teachers, once you have this list made, please provide me a copy so that if there is a problem, we can track down the person who caused the problem. And teachers, on top of the cart, there is a checkout chart for you to fill out with your name, the date you used the cart. Verify that all of the computers are in the cart to make sure that we aren't losing any of the laptops. And sometimes I will have some of the laptops. I will be working on them. If I have the laptop, I will either put a sticky note on top saying which one I have, or I will ask someone on your team to put a sticky note saying which one I have so that you know where those laptops are, and then sign when you're done. You're going to do that every time you use the cart. And sometimes last year teachers were putting tech problems on this page, like computer number 5 isn't working, it won't turn on. Again, teachers, the problem is I don't see these laptop carts. So writing the problem on this chart is not going to accomplish anything. If there is a problem, you need to fill out the online tech request form, and then I will know what the problem is and I can fix it. Teachers and students, take a good look at this picture. This is what the laptop cart should look like. It should look like this when you open it. It should look like this when you return all of the computers. Notice that each slot is numbered, and that correlates to the number on the computers. So computer number 1 should be in slot number 1. Computer number 27 should be in slot 27. Sometimes I'll happen to come across one of the carts and open it, and there are computers all over the place in the wrong slots. Please take an extra minute, teachers and students, to make sure that the computers are in the correct numbered slot. Also, the plugs for each computer are hanging right above it. Make sure each one is plugged in, because sometimes the next person gets the cart and the computers weren't plugged in, and now they can't do their lesson or their iReady because their computers are dead. So I need everyone to help make sure all the computers are plugged in. Use the cord right above it. There's no reason to be taking a cord from the top shelf down to the bottom shelf, or from computer 1 down to computer 5. Just plug them in correctly. It should look like this every single time. All right, so as I just said, make sure that the cart is plugged in at the end of the day, so the next person using it has charged up computers. And also, just take a quick peek behind the laptop cart and make sure that the red switch is turned on.
sometimes the cart is plugged in, but somehow this switch got turned off. And if that switch is off, then the computers won't charge. So teachers, I know you're super busy. You have a lot to think about. Maybe consider having one of your classroom jobs be tech helpers. Maybe have 2 tech helpers every week or every month, whatever you want to do with that. And maybe the tech helpers can make sure the computers are in the right spots, they're all plugged in, the cart's plugged in, the light's on, and that way we're good to go for the next person. Okay, and just like if you're in a lab, when you're using the laptop cart, you're going to use your headphones or borrow some from the laptop cart box if you don't have your own headphones at the time. And you're going to gently plug your headphones into the headphone jack that is circled with that metallic green color. Teachers, on top of the laptop cart, there is a troubleshooting guide for you. What to do if the internet connection is not working, what to do if the screen is black, if the keyboard won't work, if the mouse won't work. There are buttons on the computer usually that will fix those issues. So if you're having any issues with the laptops, look on the top of the cart for the different solutions I have for you there. Also on top of the cart, teachers, there's a list of computer sign-ins. Depending on what the students are doing on the computer, there are different sign-ins. So for instance, when you're iReady testing, you are going to log the computer in with iReady and the password. That's going to take you right to the testing kiosk. So that's what you're going to do when you're iReady testing. When you are using School City for various tests, that's a different computer login. That's on there as well. And then when you're just using the computers for a lesson, for Nearpod, or for research, something like that, you're just going to use the generic student login, 0065 student. And those are mainly the logins that you're going to use. Please do not, repeat, do not have students sign into the computer with their lunch number and their password. In one way, it's good to do that because students would have a drive, a student drive to save their work to. However, our student computers cannot handle a bunch of different people signing into it. It's going to use up space on the hard drive, and then the computer's not going to get updates. So if you need students to save work, if they're working on a presentation or they're typing up essays or whatever the case may be, if you want them to be able to save that, they can use Office 365 when they're logged in under 0065 student. And that's a great way for them to save work. And I offer lessons on that. So if you would like to have a lesson on students using Office 365, by all means, fill out the online media request and we can do that. All right, everyone, our theme this year is Choose to Be. And when it comes to using computers, I need everyone to choose to be respectful and responsible with our school technology. If we don't use it properly, things get broken. We don't have enough computers, we don't have enough headphones, and that causes a lot of problems. So everyone needs to do their part. Teachers, I need you to do your part by being diligent and making sure that the laptops are being taken care of, headphones that are being borrowed are being taken care of, our labs are being left in good condition. It just takes a couple minutes, right before people line up, to walk by those computers, make sure they're all in the right condition, in the right order, the headphones are good, the ones that were borrowed. Please do that each and every time because the students need to know that they are being watched and there will be consequences if things are being mistreated. Students, you need to do your part just by being responsible, not messing with anything, taking good care of things, being gentle with things. And if we all do that, we are going to have a great year with our computer equipment. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy your time with the technology, but remember to be responsible. Thank you.